Welcome back to the Fifth Line 5 Hour Show. This is a Five Reasons Sports Network show. This is Panthers pregame tonight. The Florida Panthers are taking on the Nashville Predators once again. Last night there was a 4-1 loss in Nashville. The Panthers could have clinched a playoff spot that night. Unfortunately, it didn't go out the way we wanted it to, but we're back at it again tonight in Nashville. And once again, the Panthers can clinch a playoff spot. Yesterday, Carolina was able to clinch, so they're the first team in the Central Division to get their playoff spot. Both Tampa and Florida can clinch tonight. So we have to see. The Panthers didn't come out that good last game. They got the opening goal, and then after that, it kind of all fell apart. Chris Drieger got injured in the second period. Sergei Bobrovsky had to come in. There was a couple goals in the third period, and the Panthers just kind of lost all their momentum. So looking forward to tonight's game. There are a couple new additions to this Panthers lineup. Matt Kiersted is going to be in. As of now, we haven't heard if another defenseman is coming out or if they're going to scratch someone. They've been running 7D quite often this year. But yeah, there's still no word from Coach Q on what's going to happen there. Patrick Hornqvist is still out day-to-day per Coach Q, and Chris Drieger, lower body, is also day-to-day. Bob is getting the start tonight, and it looks like Denisenko and Heponiemi are both in. They were recalled to the taxi squad from the AHL just a couple of days ago. So there's still no lineup updates beside that. So I don't know who's coming in, I know who's coming in. I don't know who's coming out yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. We are less than an hour away from puck drop, once again, at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. So let's talk a little bit about what the Panthers need to do tonight. We have Manny here. So, Manny, what do you think about the power play specifically? The Panthers have struggled a lot on the power play. What have you seen from the team that just hasn't been working out over this last couple of games?
I mean, I guess, listen, you can quite see that the absence of Aaron Ekblad is huge. I think at some point in the season, we both said once that injury happened that at some point it's going to affect something, right? And it's definitely affected that power play. But at the end of the day, listen, you've made trades and you've gotten better at certain spots on your teams. You basically just have to be much better. Tonight's another opportunity where you're facing a team that all of a sudden we all thought was going to play for nothing. But now all of a sudden their goaltender's making saves and they're able to, just be able to score goals now all of a sudden. So it's just very, very, I don't know. It's just one of those things that you need to be able to somehow get this game tonight. Dallas kind of helped you out last night by winning in overtime. You would have wished that they would have at least won in regulation, but we'll see. It's just, listen, you have to start off fast. And last night you was up 1-0, and then it just seems like the rails just went straight down. The team was going off emotion. We didn't see a lot of scoring chances, I probably want to say, especially in that second period, which we looked like, we were just, out there with emotion and per se, and then Drieger gets hurt. And obviously that's one thing that we didn't know yet what was happening. But today we heard Coach Q say that he's day-to-day. Patrick Hornqvist as well. He's also day-to-day. So Patrick Hornqvist, missed out of a lineup. Like, people seem to not realize he's very important on the power play, especially the guy that's going to stand in front of the net and, just be that body guy up front, take checks and make the guys just, work harder. So they're going to have to figure something out. To me, they still have an amazing opportunity tonight. You win, you're in. You got, and you just have to focus one thing at a time. And, they can't think about Carolina. They got to think about themselves tonight. So,
yeah, and Caitlin Daly here. She was just actually at the game yesterday in Nashville, and you're going back tonight. Caitlin, what did you see from the Panthers, and what did you see specifically from the Predators that gave them the 4-1 win last night?
So I think the Predators were able to get that win last night because they matched the Panthers' tenacity. I think with the Predators, Philip Forsberg missing his 15th game last night, and given what we've seen from the matchup so far, and the Panthers having not lost a game in Bridgestone up until last night, I think they underestimated the power of Nashville's third and fourth lines. That's where they were dominant last night, and that's how they got him. Along with UC Saros being arguably the best goal right now with his record and save percentage, and I think they just had him up the middle, and there were a couple good scoring chances. But after, once Nashville came out hot early in the second, and then with Drees getting pulled from the game, I think that kind of had the team lose their mojo a little bit. And Nashville was just, Florida, it's not like they just took the night off. They really put in a lot of effort there, but Nashville was great and able to get that win because they capitalized on those few mistakes that the Panthers did make. So tonight they just have to play with more focus and more intention. I saw a couple good scoring chances from Barkov last night in the second, and with 22 shots on goal in the second versus 2 hands worth from the Predators. They need to connect more. They need to make something happen. So that'll be the key. They wore Saros out last night with 40 shots on him. So that'll be the key tonight, is just getting through the middle and, taking the defense out from the middle.
Yeah, Alex, I think when I mentioned that the Panthers didn't make opportunities, they actually did. It just felt like no matter what they did, the puck wasn't going to end up in the back of the net for the second goal, no matter whether it was Sam Bennett, whether it was Barkov, whether it was Duke. It just seemed like no matter what they did, it just seemed like Nashville's goaltender Sorrow was just going to be there to make the save no matter what, or even if the post was going to be there. Without question, though, the Panthers played yesterday a half a second to me very slow. The Nashville Predators were much quicker to the puck. Their forecheck obviously was there, and it's something that, again, we've seen when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes due to this team, right? They out physical them in certain spots in the neutral zone, and then especially on defense. And then for them, it's very difficult to get things going out forward. That wasn't the case though last night. They got chances, but they weren't able to score. And it just felt like last night was another game where we saw a couple of years back where this team had up to 40 shots a game, but they lost. And last night, it kind of resembled me in that season with Bob Boudreau at the helm, where once again, the Panthers shot 40 times, they couldn't get a goal, and they lost 4-1 or 3-0 or, so it's just those things that I think the luck wasn't there last night. But listen, you got to scratch that. You got to move forward. You already know what you have going on for tonight, and you have another chance to make the playoffs. And that's the one thing that this team has to just focus on tonight. And then you worry about, the next game in 2 nights and whatnot. Because once you're clinched, I feel like that relieves weight off your shoulders, especially for a club like this. Then you're able to move forward. Okay, what's the next task? What do we have to do to catch Carolina? Because Dallas kind of helped per se, but you didn't help yourself though last night. So
you're also playing a Nashville team that is fighting for their life in the playoffs. They've been one of the hottest teams in the NHL since before the week before the trade deadline. Obviously, Caitlin mentioned Saros' stats: 22 saves in the second period. Like, Nashville had 6 shots. They had 1 lucky goal. They turned it up in the third period because the Panthers are going to make the playoffs. Nashville's fighting 2 teams right now for that 4th and final playoff spot. So with that being said, Caitlin, what do you think the Panthers need to do to kind of counter this really aggressive, really hot, really dominant Nashville team tonight?
Well, one thing that I have admired about the Cats this season is their ability to shift after a loss like that and come back. We call them the comeback Cats for a reason. I talked to Frank Petrano after the Dallas Stars series. He talked about how important these divisional games are, and that's why in the locker room their mentality is just next game, next task. Duclair last night said, we're going to wake up, we're going to watch some film, we're going to regroup and get back out there tomorrow. And I think, last night they had an off night. They weren't clicking. Bennett's been amazing, but, Hubie needs to learn how to play with him. Duclair got him that assist with that goal. But like we said, that was lucky. And I think now that they've seen the power and the tenacity that Nashville's 3rd and 4th lines, their roster, no one knew it until the last couple of weeks, but they're really hungry. Their roster is deep. And I think the Panthers are going to come out tonight and find ways to, not just go straight through the middle, because you're not going to get through Nashville's defense and you're not going to get through UC Saros. So I think those are the key, just working together. And also Nashville I don't know if you guys have ever been to a game in Bridgestone Arena, but it is a very hard environment to play in. Every time, I don't know if our viewers know this, but every time Nashville scores, they chant, they play a Tim McGraw song, and then they chant, "Hey, you suck," for about a full 60 seconds. So it's hard. And Bob was putting a tough position last night, having to go in halfway through a game. No goalie wants to be put in that position, but obviously we're deep with our goaltending as well on the Cats bench. So I think tonight we're going to see a different team than we saw last night.
Yeah, so we're only like 45 minutes until puck drop. We're going to have to wrap this up soon. But Manny, they're running Matt Kierstead tonight. We still haven't heard from Coach Q if there's a defenseman coming out or if they're going to go 11 forwards again. Now, obviously, Panthers Twitter has been kind of, calling for maybe some changes on the back end. What do you think needs to happen? Should they pull someone out or should they go 7D for either tonight or for the future?
I mean, listen, you got to do whatever it takes to win this game, though, right? So whether they go 7D or they get another, guy up front, I'm fine with whatever Coach Q thinks will get the job done. So to me, it's listen, you just got to play better. I guess a 40 shots, somebody that looks at the stats and sees them, like, damn, like how could you only score one goal? But obviously, you now know that most of these shots, there was no Patrick Hornquist per se, right? Which creates that kind of like, much more better scoring opportunities. And not to mention, there weren't that many rebounds. So whether you go with 6 or 7 defense, listen, the whole point of tonight's game is to get the 2 points and clinch the playoff spot, no matter what it takes. Whether it takes to get into overtime or to win it in a shootout, it doesn't matter. You got to go out there and you got to win tonight. You can't just keep letting games like this pass on by while Carolina's getting more and more of an opportunity to create a much bigger lead against you for that number 1 seed. So whatever it takes, man. I'm not gonna pinpoint something. Well, they need to do this, to win. No. Somehow, some way, they gotta win. 7-6 win, 1-0 win. Just win.
They just need those points, and I think a big component of that tonight is going to be just creating those scoring chances. Like I said in the second, when when the Nashville was defending and the Predators were just firing off those 22 shots on UC Saros. Barkov and Bennett had some pretty good scoring chances. They were probably the best for the Panthers, but Ben Harper got in the way. And, UC Saros blocked everything that came his way. And the way to create those scoring chances is they're going to have to work in a tandem and isolate the defense and then play a little catch. And hopefully something works out. But we need the magic tonight.
Yeah, so puck drops at 8 p.m. Panthers, once again, can clinch tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming on, watching one of our pregame shows tomorrow in the box with Alex. If you want a little bit more about the Panthers, we'll see if they clinch tonight or not. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. I'm Alex Baumgartner, joined by Caitlin Daly and Manny Chang. Thank you so much for watching the Fifth Line 5 Hour Show.